Welcome to the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, where we give you your backstage pass to everything that's happening in the Buffalo music scene. My name is Ryan Kaminski, and I recently went to the doctor, and they told me that my veins were difficult. Are your veins easy, or are they difficult?
Ryan Kaminski, you're strange. I'm Cassidy, and my veins are just fine. You're strange.
Fair enough.
My veins.
On episode 85, we are joined by Ryan Kaminski.
Hi.
Singer, songwriter, generally nice-looking guy. You got it going on. It's nice.
And on camera and everything.
Yeah, that too.
Comes across, yeah. Good
So-
thing we got, good-looking
Yeah, of
people
course.
to interview. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Neither
So
do I.
are we doing fun things?
Yes, so on today's episode, we're going to be talking to Ryan about what all the stuff he's been working on. We're going to play a couple of his songs. We're also going to be playing a brand new single from Molly Conrad that I like very, 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 very much. We're going to be talking about some previous concerts, including a pop-up concert with Aqueous, Music is Art, Buffalo bands for Planned Parenthood, and if we have time, we'll talk about upcoming shows, and there's so much to do.
It's still, well, I guess summer's over, right? But there's so much happening still.
Oh,
in our
it's better. It's
concert
better in
season.
the fall. It is hoodie season for outdoor
I'm
concerts.
ready for it.
Hell yes, I like it. I'd much rather get all cozy in a hoodie than be out scorching in the sun.
Dude, for real. No more sunscreen for concerts.
I'm Sicilian. I don't need it.
Okay, very good.
All right, but first,
What happens first?
all right, let's talk about Music is Art.
That was great.
Yeah,
Wasn't it great?
Ryan, were you there?
I played in the first slot of the day on the six-pack stage.
Was that
And,
11?
The floating stage.
The floating stage.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Floating
cool.
stage. The six-pack stage was a great spot.
It was awesome. Yeah, and my buddy Seth Zielinski played drums with me. So, yeah, kicked off the day, and then we got to, just hang out and enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Were there a lot
after
of
that,
people hanging
so-
around at the beginning of the day?
Yeah, surprisingly.
really?
Yeah,
Cool,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
No, it was good. It was good. Because there were people that were there, setting up, or people just kind of showing up early because they just wanted to, soak it all in. So
Absolutely.
yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And then we went over to the Wonder Coffee House stage. We walked through the refringement art displays inside the silos. I saw a couple bands play. I forget the name of the stage, but kind of in the back corner, the Rail Barn stage.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were all over the place.
Cool.
It was great.
Any favorite performances out of everything you saw?
Well, I saw Sarah Elizabeth and Courtney play at the Wonder Coffee House, and that was great. And then Jake Nicholson played
Cool.
at the same spot, right after them. So
What a scenic spot. That,
It was
that
cool.
coffee house
Mhm.
vibe, and you're outside in the open air, and they've got their little canopy kind of tended
Yeah.
things. Also, if you haven't been there, those waffles that they dip in the chocolate and then in the
we
Cheerios.
had some of those.
Oh, shoot.
we had some
Wait,
of those for
what?
sure.
Yes. So
Wait, is this at Riverworks?
I think, do they regularly host songwriters there? Do they have any type of
Not that I'm aware of.
Wouldn't it be a
but
thing? That would
It
be
should
so
be
lovely.
a thing. Yeah, yeah. We
you
kind
know-
of just got a comfortable spot there and just chilled for a while because they're back-to-back songwriters that we
How long
knew
were the
and liked.
sets on that stage?
Same as everywhere else. I think a half hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
And
Yeah.
how was it I think one of the very few complaints I would have about Music is Art is that sometimes it's hard to hear one stage at one time. Was there any noise pollution where you guys were? Could you really hear each other well?
Not really at Wonder because it was far enough away. I
Yeah,
think,
that sounds
but-
like it'd be a good
'cause
spot
there-
for
'cause there
being
was a
kind of.
DJ kind of at the edge of everything else that was pretty close to us. But
Sure.
no, I never felt that way.
Oh, that's great.
It
Yeah.
seemed like with these stages, the way that you're able to work the Riverworks campus and space things, when you walk just outside of the radius of the sound being clear, you get that fuzz of everything else happening. And it's almost intimidating. But once you're in front of whatever stage, they do a real good job of you can zone in
Yeah.
on that and not really have to.
I don't know how they made it work the way
Oh.
that they did, but
Yeah.
it was great. I never once was oh man, I wish this other band could, be quiet so I can hear this band I'm standing in front of. My only complaint from the day was that I couldn't be in 4 places at once.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
right?
always the worst. Yeah.
There's tons of stuff that I wasn't able to see because, there's just too much happening at the same time. But
I even like going where the children's stages were and hearing young performers. I
Yeah.
swear I went into like mom mode or something because I had tears at one point because it was
Aw.
just so moving to watch somebody like that young spilling their own personal heart out into their songwriting. It's I don't know.
So
the
who
idea
did
that
you see then?
festival can cross-pollinate so many different arts, really, because it's not just music and performances there. You've got many different disciplines. Sonic Wranglers, is that?
Oh, yeah, Steve Myers.
Yeah. So I'm always in the silos.
Yeah.
Steve has instrumentation that's art, it's playable art. You know, he's got the
love that stuff.
strings woven through a canvas. You know, and then into pedals and whatever else. So this audio visual presentation in the silos was particularly enjoyable. Jeff Peters had another thing in the silos playing as a duo. I'm not sure.
Okay.
He's a percussionist. But the idea of, again, that space and how you can be really magically transported in those silos to this mystical land. Lusty, our friend Jess, had a lovely Lusty land with live painters and everything else. It was just...
Inside the silos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that
there's
was
a
just
lot in
one
there.
one spot, right?
I could have spent so much more time in there than we did, but we played the gongs with the tennis balls and
The
and all the
gongoranium.
wiffle balls and all that, the
Yeah.
gongoranium.
We know how much I love Gongorania.
Yeah.
I could have spent. I felt like a little kid in that room. It was so cool. My wife had to kind of like drag me out of it.
Sure.
But then there was another display of like I forget what it was called, but it was like an oscillating like. They called it like a wub wub machine, and it was interactive, so you could turn knobs on it, and it was this kind of oscillating like synth that was and it was epic sounding in the silos, and you could change the frequencies, so you could create like, harmony and major thirds and stuff.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was cool, and people just walked up and they turned the knobs and they were fascinated by it, and that was another one my wife had to kind of like pull me away from it eventually.
And of course, Music is Art as a foundation, the idea that they're able to sponsor underfunded music programs, and also I feel in their like Battle of the Bands things encourage young musicians
absolutely.
To play out. Robbie is just kind of like a Buffalo superhero.
I love Robbie.
What a phenomenal event and day and a great cause. They gave me the best job this year. Did I already discuss this?
No.
No. So I volunteer with Music is Art, as I have since I was a teenager, and I usually get stuck doing, I say, I'll do whatever, right? Like I'll sell tickets, I'll be the checker-inner, and I have to like stand behind a table in a spot, and I don't get to see the festival. I had the best job this year. It was that I got to walk around with a little donation bucket and my little volunteersy shirt and see all my friends and be like, you got any jingling change? Got $1?
I had no idea you were doing that.
I did that from
Nice.
9 a.m. to 2 p.m., but
Wow.
I ended up staying till I stayed till the very last minute that I could, and then I had to go be a waitress. I had to fly out of there.
So who are your favorite performers then, from what you saw, or is just kind of the stuff we just talked about?
More what I just talked about. I had mega ADHD there because there's like I have to do everything. I have to see everything. I really appreciated the African drum and dance ensembles that were
cool.
in the main rink again, and even the dancers in general. I'm talking about this as not musician performers, right?
Yeah.
It's
That's fine.
so multi. There's too many things to take in,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I would have gone to the silent disco. I'm having like the FOMO.
I only
like,
found out
over to
about that
all
after
the
I
things I
left.
missed. One of my coworkers was strangely. This kid runs the fryer in the restaurant where I waitress, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm playing a set at Music is Art." Well, you are? You are? Yes, I'm a DJ. Wow. Okay. How many performers? I would love to know how many performers that day encompassed. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
100. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's usually like 140-ish, and I thought they went a little smaller because of COVID, but I don't know for.
It was lovely
Don't quote
to
me
have
on
it
any
there.
of that.
Lovely to have it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't stay too long because I had a thing I was doing, but I got to see Demaya's set,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
damn. They're going to be headlining their own bills very soon. Like it's just I can't even, like, there's just so much diversity in what they do between the instrumentation and the singing and the rapping and the song. I am always impressed with them, and it just keeps getting better and better.
It's cool that it's so outside of the box.
Every time I've seen Demaya, there's been something different about the performance that is like equally mind-blowing as the last time I saw. So it's cool that they keep coming up with new ways to keep the audience on their toes.
No, I did a hip hop show at Milky's last night, and they performed, and people are kind of hanging around and they're talking, and then Demaya starts a song, and they're just kind of doing their thing, and then they get to that point where they just like spit like this ridiculous verse, and then you see like every head turn, and people are like, "What?" And it's just I love when you can get a reaction like that out of people, when you can like truly surprise them as a performer. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
So I got to perform with the still unnamed marching band.
It was marching
Music
band,
is
though.
Art. It was fun.
Marching band season.
Yeah, I more checked out the vendors. I just kind of wanted to take a look around. I'm always looking for visual artists for Infringement Festival. Did you guys see the guy who was selling pot?
Was that a thing?
There was one guy, and I go up to the table, and there's like these 4 like jars of pot, and I'm like, "Hey, what you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I have these stickers, and they're $40, and if you buy a sticker, you get an 1/8 for free." And I'm like, this makes perfect sense with the way the weird laws are, but it's like, this feels really weird. I'm at a family-friendly event with a guy who's selling pot. It was just.
I wonder how much money they made.
I have no idea.
That could have been a really good scene for that.
Yeah, I'm really curious how the whole thing functioned, but that was one of the things where I saw it, and I'm like, that just surprised me. Like, there's nothing wrong with it per se. It's
walking
just like
around with your own personal Bluetooth speaker going, legalize it.
Oh, so that happened.
That's crazy.
I also wanted to talk about Buffalo bands for Planned Parenthood. We changed that up. We raised like $400 for Planned Parenthood, which I think is fantastic, given that we inadvertently were counter programming to music as art. My show was I had the date first, theoretically. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they hadn't picked out way ahead of me, but like then they announced, and I'm like, well, shit, what am I gonna do now? But we still did a really great job with it. Brookhaven played, and they killed it. I really enjoy Smitten for Trash. They are now a 2-piece folk punk band.
Okay.
They're a couple. JD plays guitar and sings, and then Robin plays. She plays banjo and clarinet.
Okay.
It's a really interesting thing. Editor of the podcast, John Galbo, performed his New Speak, and he needs to finish his album. There's a couple songs in that set that he does, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like, let's get it on. It's like, it's not recorded yet. And it's like, do this, please.
Right.
Christina Stock had a great set. Carrie Faye had a great set. First time I'd seen Stress Dolls in 2 years. I love Chelsea. She makes such beautiful music. And I got my St. John and the Other Monsters played, which was cool. It was our first time playing at Mohawk, which was, special. Like, I played Mohawk a bunch of times, but some of the other guys hadn't, so that was cool. And Cheap Peach fucking killed it.
Yeah.
They went like full Nirvana at the end of their set with like instruments being like thrown around and people like falling over on stage. It is punk rock, as the kids might say.
Loved it.
And then I told a friend of mine, I'm like, hey, if you want to take a break from your homework, we can go for a walk on Monday night. And then I showed up, and they're like, hey, there's a pop-up concert with Aqueous at Delaware Park.
On a Monday.
Oh, my God, it was so freaking cool. Wow. I had never seen Aqueous. They are incredible. They are such great musicians.
Right.
They went without mics, so they were just going all instrumental. And they probably played for like 2 hours. There was just a pretty simple light setup going, but then you start going in the back, and there's at least like 8 fire dancers doing their thing. And
so what time of day is this?
This would have been from like 8:30 to 11 p.m.
On Monday in Delaware Park.
Yeah, and you've got
down by the lake.
Yeah, like right in front of I think it's Hoyt Lake.
They do the fire dancer thing.
Yeah, they had they were there with the hoopers and the jugglers and the wanders.
Man. I saw Aqueous New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
2018, 2019. It was the same night. It was the same night that the Bills clinched the playoff. They broke the playoff drought. Not that the Bills played. That was Cincinnati and
Baltimore.
Yeah, it was that night. It was New Year's Eve. we watched the game, and then we went to Town Ballroom, and Aqueous
Who
played.
opened for Aqueous that night? Was that the Woody Tarbox Aqueous show?
That's what I was gonna guess.
Maybe.
Because that was epic. I saw a lot of, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't.
COVID put everything on pause, so when you think back on concerts, it's like, did that happen yesterday?
You always have to
Yeah.
add
I know it's been
a
years.
year to a
Yeah.
year and a half onto the end
For
of
sure.
Right, yeah. But that was my first time seeing Aqueous. A friend who knew them invited us to go, and we were like, okay, we'll go because we're friends and live music, cool. And
Hell yeah.
it completely blew our minds. It was awesome.
it. Yeah, no, I need to keep my ear to the ground about these happenings
Yeah,
as they
I'm too
pop
old. You
up.
gotta let me
'cause-
know. You're old too, but like if young cool people tell you about it and you tell me about it, we'll be good.
Yeah, I'm got my ear to the ground with all the cool kids. Hey guys, I'm not a narc. All right, so we are gonna take a quick break and play "Believe Me" by Molly Conrad.
Very good.
I love Molly.
Yeah.
She's got this sweet, like Jenny Lewis kind of voice to what she does.
She's
And
fantastic. Yeah.
so this is the first single off of her album that I unfortunately don't know the name of off the top of my head. It's going to be released on October 15th. It's not out yet, at least, if I'm not going to
This
remember
is
it.
a sneak peek.
Yes. So this is the
Exclusive.
first
You hear it
single.
here first.
It's called "Believe Me," and we'll be right back with Ryan Kaminski here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com.
This is not my place, this is not my house. I'd rather stand with you for a million hours. Talk about the world like we're both from Mars. Where are you? Where are you? I know just one look from me will make you burst out laughing. Why do I still think that we're the only ones who get it? Should I make myself believe this sort of thing just happens? You're the only one who sees me. Believe me. I know that you are not so far away. But do you have to leave when I wanna stay? My mind's awake, the lights start to fade, and you have to leave. Why do you have to leave? When you start to fall asleep, I want to wake you again. My heart skips a little beat when you say you're my best friend. 20 years of make-believe, I can't believe we're standing far next to me. You're right here, all I need. Give me something to believe. Everything you ever knew, it's right there, right in front of you. It's right there, right in front of you. You make me laugh until I cry. I never wanna see you die. I'll give you all the reasons why. Reasons why. I know just one look from me will make you burst out laughing. Why do I still think that we're the only ones who really get it? Should I make myself believe this sort of thing just happens? You are the only one who sees me, the only one. You hear me, the only one. Believe me.
And we're back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music podcast. That was Believe Me by Molly Conrad. And now we're joined by Ryan Kaminski. Hey, Ryan. How's
Hey.
it going?
It's great. It's great.
So, for those of our listeners who aren't super familiar with you, kind of describe your music to us.
So my music is, I like to tell people it's kind of like Beatles, Beach Boys meets like 2000s pop rock, like Third Eye Blind. It's like the Beach Boys
I
meets
like
Third
that.
Eye Blind.
Yeah. Beach Eye Blind. I like this.
Yeah. Because my whole background is in like choral music.
Yeah.
So Beach Boys,
Oh, yeah.
Frankie Valli, Four Seasons, like any of that, like doo-wop, Temptations, Drifters. I love that stuff, the multi-harmony stuff. And so I try to put that into my music. But then,
I can hear that.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely. I mean,
but I also grew up like with Third Eye Blind and I don't know, Green Day and Blink-182. And then when I went to college, I was into other bands like Phantom Planet and Mute Math
Phantom
and
Planet.
bands
Yeah.
like that are, a little bit more like college rock. But
sure.
there's definitely like a soft spot in my heart for like oldies and like that kind of vintage feel to the music. Yeah. So like my song "She Doesn't Like My Face" was written as like a '50s pop song.
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Yeah. As soon as you
Yeah.
mentioned Beatles and Beach Boys, that was
Yeah,
that
and, like,
popped in my head.
My song "Hey Girl" was written as like a Motown kind of vibe.
Definitely. And that's the track that opens that album, correct?
Yeah.
So, you get this energy of a different. I appreciate how unabashedly pop music you are about it. Like, it's a refreshing, bubblegummy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're
right?
absolutely correct. Like, there's not a whole lot that kind of really embraces it the
But
way
it's
you
done
do.
well. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell that it's polished in your. It's considered songwriting. It's not like I'm going to throw it out there in a sloppy way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like a slick recording.
Yeah.
I do.
Hey, yeah, nothing
I like
wrong with
a
that.
slick produced sound, but I don't want it to, like, I still want it to be me. I want it to be unique, and I want it to be like clever and witty and thoughtful. And so, yeah, I'm just, I'm not trying to like go viral or be famous or make a lot of money. I'm just trying to make music that I like.
Sure,
and
sure.
I like songs that have a good hook and have a catchy guitar riff and, have a melody that you can sing right away.
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
definitely. And
Yeah.
the like self-deprecating kind of boy next door nature to your
Yeah.
your songwriting. It's very inviting. I
Yeah.
feel like if you're hearing Ryan Kaminski at the coffee shop or at the songwriters open mic, whatever, you're telling. It's not like you're putting on a face, a show. You're telling a lot about your own the
Yeah.
struggles in a poppy lovey way. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. The struggle is real amongst all genres.
yeah.
So, do you have a band that you play with typically, or do you just go solo when you're performing live?
It's a little bit of both. And I mean, to be completely honest, I wish I could play with a band all the time. I've been doing a lot of solo gigs throughout the summer, like ever since, things started opening back up. But before COVID, I was really kind of pushing to get a band together that could play full time, because the songs that I write, in my head, I hear a full band with them. And so, there's a couple of tracks that I've been playing out that are going to go on my next album, and I'm playing them as a solo acoustic songwriter, but I'm like, this is missing the drums.
Because
it's
you
missing
hear
the
it.
bass.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you recorded your last album, who played all the parts? Did you bring in friends to play on your tracks?
Yeah, so on that album, I went to Mammoth Recording Studios.
Very good.
And the owner of the studio at the time, Joseph Orlando, he played bass, and then a friend of his played drums.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so between the three of us, we played everything. So I played bass on Where It Starts, and I played keys on Where It Starts, and then like the three of us did backing vocals on Hey Girl, and we all did backing vocals on She Doesn't Like My Face. So like I had to teach them all of the vocal parts, but then I did my own backing vocals on a bunch of the songs, and I think on Where It Starts I played glockenspiel.
Ha.
Joe played like slide guitar on Gentleman. I think he added like a lap steel part that was really cool. He added a little Rhodes keyboard
Oh,
thing.
that's
like,
nice.
For Hey Girl, we were kind of inspired a little bit by Tears of a Clown. And
Right.
Sure.
there's that really like classic part, like that keyboard hook. Yeah. And so we wanted something like that in the song, so he added that. And
I
so,
can hear that.
yeah.
I'm singing Tears of a Clown in my head. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a smile on my face. it's
Yeah,
only
that
because
whole
I'm
like that whole
full of
Motown
color.
like yeah.
I love Motown. Like, I'm not a big oldies guy. I love Motown. Just
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
bass lines and the vibes. Like,
Yeah.
I just it makes
So
me
even-
happy in a way
yeah,
that a lot
even
of
the way
other
we
older stuff
approached,
doesn't do.
Like recording the drums for that album, we tried to do it as simply as possible because we were like, how would they have done this then, right? Like they wouldn't have mic'd up the drums with 12 microphones. So
Right.
like our whole approach to that album was classic. Like, yeah,
That's
keep
awesome.
it simple and just you know.
Did you get a chance to record to analog tape?
No,
That's okay.
no,
That
but,
that's pulling the full OG.
right. I know. I would love to go.
I was just curious.
I would love to go that far. I would love to do like a vinyl pressing of my
Ooh.
next album. You know, a lot of it comes down to what my budget is and
For sure.
You know,
so
how-
plans for your next album. You've got material
Yeah.
written. You're just trying to.
so the songs that we're playing on the podcast today. That EP that I released was 7 years ago.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was
so-
that long ago.
Yeah, and it's funny because that album came out right before I started my current teaching job, and so
What's your day gig?
my day gig is a high school music teacher.
Where
So,
do you teach?
I teach at St. Mary's High School in Lancaster.
I love that. I live very close to there.
Yeah?
I do.
So I grew up in Lancaster. I went to Fredonia for music
Okay.
ed. Then I went to Mansfield University in Pennsylvania for choral conducting. So like that's my instrument is
I miss being
Yes.
a part of a chorus and
Mhm.
sang through college and in chorus. It's
Yeah.
got to be fun, too, to work with kids who are there and enthusiastically a part of the ensemble.
oh yeah, it's great.
And being in COVID times as a music teacher is its own tricky
Oh, yeah.
task, right?
That's a whole other story, but yeah, we had to really adapt, and I taught myself Final Cut and Logic. So I
Nice.
made multiple virtual choirs during the pandemic with my
Wow.
kids. I taught them how to record their own voices with soundtrap.com, and you know we really tried to do as much as we could, but we couldn't do concerts.
Right.
So we're gonna get back to that this year. So I'm
What
excited
is it
about
for you
that,
right
but-
now? Do the kids have to be distanced and masked? Can you sing in a room all together? Is
We
that
can,
allowed?
yeah.
Good.
We are masked all day.
Yeah.
All day, every day, but we're there 5 days a week. It's a small school.
Right.
You know, it's a private school. Last year we had about 420
Right.
kids there, and 40% of them opted out, so they would stay home and do the classes virtually. But now we're back, and we've got more kids this year than we had last year, and we're masked all the time. But
Yeah.
we're still gonna, you know, they're still doing sports, and they're still doing concerts, and
That's great.
they're doing the fall play, which they didn't get to do at all last year. So, yeah.
And are you
But-
involved in the theater programming there as
Yeah,
well?
I'm the music director.
All the
So
things, yeah.
I don't know what
course.
the musical will be this year. My kids, they beg us for hints like every
Ah.
day until they find out what the show is.
Drop a hint here.
Yeah,
It'll help
right.
out the ratings.
I have no idea because it's really a collaboration between me and the director of what the show's going to be.
Sure.
But I just tell them it's cats. It's like
That way, no matter what you tell them, it'll be better.
right, yeah. So, but I'm looking forward to that. We do a spring musical, so we'll
Yeah.
audition around Thanksgiving, and then hopefully get the materials in before Christmas break, so we can cast the show and they can start learning their stuff before we get back. But
Did you always know you wanted to be a music teacher?
I think I always knew I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
I think like even in middle school, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a teacher. I knew that. But there was like this weird thing where I didn't like see what was right in front of me all the time. Like I grew up always wanting to be in the spotlight, like always performing, like, you know.
Calisthenics.
Yeah.
Are we?
They'll let us know when we're back.
Can you hear us now?
All good?
Memory.
All right. What were we talking about?
Getting into
for
chorus.
our listeners, we just had a quick sound.
Glitch in the matrix.
Yes, exactly.
It was just a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, so I joined chorus. I joined chorus and then started doing the musicals my junior year of high school, and that was like a revelation.
What musicals did you do?
Well, so I did George M. my sophomore year, and then we did Les Mis my junior year.
Ooh, fancy.
And then we did Anything Goes my senior year.
I like anything goes.
Nice.
Yeah, and those experiences were transformative. You know, I was so passionate about doing theater and being a part of the choirs. So that really kind of set me on my path.
Absolutely.
Did you already find yourself a songwriter before that point, or did you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another part of it, too. Like, I joined choir because I had formed a band my sophomore year, and we were kind of like a hard rock band.
What was your name, most
The
importantly?
band was Dark Morning.
That's not bad. Okay, okay.
And I think it was my drummer that came up with the name, and we were like, oh, there's imagery there, and it's like, you know, there's like a hopeful, like it's the morning, right? There's kind of
Did
optimistic.
you spell morning like
No.
you're in mourning?
Right, we didn't spell it like morning because we thought that was too
A little
depressing.
too much, yeah, I
but
think so too.
See, for a high schooler to realize that's too depressing. That's a certain amount of depth that's devoid
Yeah.
amongst many people.
we wanted it to be something that like had a little bit of depth to it. But,
Sure.
I don't know. It sounded cool, and
Yeah.
we wanted to be kind of like a Breaking Benjamin, like 3 Days Grace, kind of like, you know, post grunge, hard rock kind of band. And we played Showplace, we played
love Showplace.
Mohawk, we played a bunch of these places around town that had high school bands. But I joined chorus because I wanted my voice to be better as
Sure.
as a front man of a rock band.
Sure.
And, yeah.
What was your band instrument before you quit?
Well, I continued with
Yeah.
the
Oh, you
band.
stayed in
school.
band.
Yeah,
So what'd you
So
play?
I played clarinet from 4th grade to 9th grade, and then I switched to bari sax. 'Cause
Smart.
They had one, and they didn't have anybody to play it. So our band teacher was like, "We have this bari sax. If anybody wants to learn," and I'm like, "Well, I'm one of 24 clarinet players. I'll do it." So
That's actually how I started playing string bass.
yeah.
The string bass player transferred and was just sitting in the corner and it's like, I'll play that.
Yeah. So I learned bari sax, and then my senior year I switched to tenor sax, and I like totally fell in love with that. But I only played it that 1 year. So
were you like Benny Goodman playing on a clarinet? Can you like noodle about it? No.
I don't know if I could still play it. I probably could, but it's been a long time. I think I could still play sax, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So are your students fans of your music?
Yes. So I also do children's theater over the summer. I've done that for like the last 12 years with the Lancaster Youth Bureau.
Sure.
And we produce a show for kids grades 3 through 8. And we
My
usually
son
do,
wants to audition.
we usually do it at the Opera House.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
My son wants to audition.
Yeah. So we did it again this year. We didn't get to do it last year, but we did it this year. And every year, the kids like discover my music online, or like they find my music video for "She Doesn't Like My Face," and so like those kids adore that song.
Ah.
Like they sing it for me, or they beg me to sing it for them
Aw.
at rehearsal. So they love "She Doesn't Like My Face," and I did play for them one of my newer songs this summer, and they really liked that. My song "Trees."
Oh, cool.
So they were really into that one. But the high school kids are kind of ambivalent to like what I do outside of school. So
They're always
which is-
cooler.
Yeah, they're too
it's-
cool for that
to be
stuff.
Yeah,
expected.
which
Yeah.
is fine. But yeah, so I had started that whole thing about the school thing because I really poured a lot of my energy into that, and so I wasn't like actively trying to book gigs or actively, thinking about the next time I would be in the studio. And man, like life comes at you fast, right?
Oh, absolutely.
When I started teaching, I wasn't like, I'm going to just focus on this for 7 years and not think about making an album. But it just happens.
It flies by, too.
It flies by. So during the pandemic, like I mentioned before, I taught myself Logic and Final Cut. And then I was involved in the Band Together Buffalo thing. And then I got involved with Music is Art with they have a songwriting peer group
Yep.
that meets once a month, and my friend Jen invited me to do this post APOC open mic night, which was singer songwriters in the area, and so that really kind of like inspired me to dig into my songwriting again, which I had been doing kind of casually, but it was like it lit a fire under my ass.
It seems like that community is inspirational to each
Oh,
other. I
absolutely.
hear nothing but, like when we sit down with Ryan and he'll talk of, it's just cross-pollinated. Everybody's
Absolutely,
so
yeah. It really
much
is.
a champion of the other's artistry.
Yeah.
And I think it creates so much comfort, too, to be able to put yourself out there when you've got everyone else
Yeah.
championing your efforts, right?
It's cool. I mean, even from the first time I did the open mic night, there were people just, felt like people were in your corner. After one time of seeing you do an open mic night on Zoom, I mean, that's the first time I saw Demaya perform. Was on a Zoom open mic night.
But it's so
Right.
brave. It's
Yeah.
so brave to put yourself out there. Like, even more than the strip down on a stage, you're here to see this
Yeah.
is like, are people really going to tune in and watch me
Yeah.
on their screen? And like,
Oh yeah.
It was
Am I
great.
gonna
I
look
looked
okay?
forward to Wednesday nights
yeah.
for so many months because of that. And and now that we can like go out and see each other play, it's added a whole other
Oh my goodness.
dimension and like it adds so much more meaning to the what we've built already. So yeah,
It's awesome.
it's
What
been
are
really
your
great.
favorite memories performing your own music? Like, do you have highlights of your favorite
Like as a
performances?
songwriter
as
or
a songwriter
just in general?
or in a band? I mean, I hate to say performer, but given that you've been involved in,
Yeah.
in
No,
theater in different elements, what if you had like a time and a place?
I mean, well, first of all, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before, I played at the Cave with
Oh,
Demaya
yep.
and Jacob Nicholson.
Yeah.
And we did a songwriter round. And honestly, that was like a highlight of maybe all of my songwriting gigs. It was so
Yeah.
cool to share the stage with them. And we took turns playing, and we did a set that was acoustic, but then we also did a second set that was full band. So we had drummers and bass players play with all of us as songwriters. And just the vibe the whole night was
But
so
as like a
cool. And-
pickup band, right? Like, not a rehearsed thing. You're playing with.
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
My friend Jen played bass with me, and she hadn't played with me before.
Gotcha.
But she learned 5 of my songs for that night.
Cool.
And my buddy Seth, who has played with me now a bunch on drums, he played with me and played with Demaya. And Jake has his band Real Movement, so they played as a full band that
Sure.
night too. So
That's fantastic.
that was honestly that was a highlight of
I love it.
I wish I
my,
could have been there.
my performing career. But then, I've had other like great opportunities to perform as an actor. Like I was in Spring Awakening. It was one of my first shows in Buffalo theater. That whole cast became really close. It's how I met my wife. That was a big highlight. Doing the Rocky Horror Picture Show at
Oh,
the
wow.
Riviera Theater.
Yeah.
That was really cool. We
Is
do
that
that
with John Kehoe?
with John Kehoe. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So my wife was a part of that a year before I started doing it, so she kind of invited me into the
Nice.
cast. And so we're not doing it at the Riv this year, but we are going to do the whole Shadowcast thing at O'Connell and Company. The movie plays behind us, and we wear all the screen accurate costumes, and we
Oh, that's
act out
really
the show.
cool.
Yeah, so that's like another kind of highlight. I proposed to my wife on stage at the Riv.
How cool.
Yeah, before one of those performances, so that's another highlight. But
Love it.
yeah,
Wow.
playing music as art this year was a highlight. I hadn't done that before, so that was really cool. Yeah.
Awesome. So we are going to take a break,
'Kay.
but we are going to play She Doesn't Like My Face.
All right.
So, what? Actually, I'm curious. Talk about the video for it, because I love the way it's shot. Who was like? Did you kind of storyboard it all yourself? Did you have a team that helped you with it? How did you put that together?
So the guy that did the video was a friend of a friend. I think they knew each other from working at Apple together. Like my friends knew Mike. Mike Raish is the guy that directed.
Oh yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And he does all kinds of really creative stuff with video, and he had done plenty of stuff like that before. So we just sat down together and kind of storyboarded what kind of shots we wanted before the day of the filming. So it was good that we had a concept going into it. And then we rented out 14 Holy Helpers Church Hall. And the whole concept was that it was like a 1950s like homecoming dance or prom or something.
Was it hard finding any of the wardrobe for that, or did you find that everyone you invited kind of had something that would fit?
We borrowed dresses. I think we asked people if they had like any kind of 1950s like A-line dresses to bring that, or guys if they had suits. But I think we also borrowed dresses and suits from my friend's theater company. So we had like a rack of costumes that people could potentially use. So that all worked out. That was really cool, that we had stuff available for people. But I think a lot of people kind of got the idea anyway that, you know, it's like a 50s party. And then the day of, I also had a friend that was a choreographer. So there are moments within the music video that we choreographed with everybody.
Yeah, those are some of the coolest parts, I think.
Yeah. So I think we started the day with those shots, like, because everybody was in them, and so we had to teach everybody the choreography first, and we filmed that stuff. And then we got to a point where like we were done with everybody, and then we could kind of like dismiss people.
Yeah.
And then it was like shots with the band, and then shots with like me and the girl who played like my love interest.
Yeah.
My friend Maureen, she worked with the Youth Bureau show that summer too, so we were colleagues.
In real life, does Maureen like your face?
I mean, yeah, we
okay, I don't know how much acting was done here, how much credit we need to give Maureen for not liking your face.
Everybody who was there that day was super awesome and friendly and really fun to work with. So, but it's funny because there was a girl at the end of the video that says, well, I like your face.
Oh.
But my now wife was also in the music video, and so like it would have been been so awesome if
that wasn't your wife at the end?
No. But it wouldn't have been awesome if like that worked out, that my wife was the one at the end that said, well, I like your face. But
I thought it was. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to play She Doesn't Like My Face by Ryan Kaminski, and then we'll be back for one of the stranger games I've ever come up with, which is called Kaminsky with a Y or Kaminsky with an I, here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That wasn't the right button. On westernnewyorkmusic.com.
I met this girl the other night. We were talking, everything felt right. I thought in no time she'd wanna be mine. I had the perfect things to say, but still she turned and walked away. Thought we connected, but I got rejected. I think I know the reason why. Yeah, I could see it in her eyes. She doesn't like my face. It wasn't hard to tell. Some girls are sweet as pie, some girls are shallow as hell. She was looking for a 10. I guess I'm more of a 3. I could change all my clothes, but I can't change my jeans. It doesn't matter what I do, you'll never see me in GQ. Might be a nice guy, but the ladies pass by. And where my story always ends, I think that we should just be friends. Might not be Cupid, but I'm not stupid. I've been turned down enough to know I've got a face for radio. She doesn't like my face, it wasn't hard to tell. Some girls are sweet as pie, some girls are shallow as hell. She was looking for a 10, I guess I'm more of a 3. I could change all my clothes, but I can't change my jeans. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, now people like to say there's plenty of fish in the sea. L-Y. She said goodbye. U-G-L-Y. She said goodbye. She doesn't like my face. It wasn't hard to tell. Some girls are sweet as pie. Some girls are shallow as hell. She was looking for a 10. I guess I'm more of a 3. I could change all my clothes, but I can't change my jeans. It's not the way I walk. It's not the way I talk. It's not the color of my hair. It's not the clothes I wear. The only thing she would change is something I can't replace. You know it's sad, but it's true. She doesn't like my face. U-G-L-Y. She said she doesn't like my face.
Hey, I like your face.
And we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was She Doesn't Like My Face by Ryan Kaminski. So, I really had to stretch to put this game idea together. Cassidy had an idea where we were going to come up with a list of musicians, and you'd have to tell me if they're Polish or not. But then I looked at the list of famous Polish musicians. There aren't any.
Maybe they just don't promote their Polishness.
I don't know.
could
Like
be.
if there's.
I mean, I don't show up to a gig and tell people that I'm Polish.
your last name's Kaminsky.
But I mean, yeah, they figure it out.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
They figure it out.
But like I'm looking and there's like composers or there's like these like black death metal bands and like the only band that identifies as Polish that I even knew of was this 90s punk rock band called Tilt that was on Fat Records. So not enough for a game. So we're going to play a game called Kaminsky with a Y or Kaminsky with an I, or otherwise known as Kaminsky or Kaminsky. See, at least I got that laugh out of it. So I'm going to name you famous Kaminskys, and you just have to tell me if that Kaminsky has an I for a last name or a Y for a last name.
Oh, man.
See, we're stretching. I'm gonna keep score for once. This is gonna be great. All right.
There are a lot of Kaminskys in Buffalo. People ask me all the time, "Oh, are you related to so and so?" And the answer is always no.
Right?
Oh, I know so many people
My-
like that. They're
my
like,
mom
"Oh, are
and
you
dad-
related to?" And they're like, the sentence doesn't even. And they're like, "No."
My mom and dad grew up in Dunkirk and Fredonia, so like I may have relatives in that area, but in Buffalo,
Sure.
not really.
I feel your pain. I'm a Jasinski. So
What is it?
Jasinski, like
Shazin-
Jazinski.
Huh.
Jazinski. So it's like Smith in Poland. I just tell them it's like Smith in Poland. There must be many. Oh,
somewhere there's
this is
somewhere there's a Smith in Poland who's like, "It's just like Jasinski."
right?
Oh, yo. Okay. The first one. The most famous Kaminsky per Playback FM is Rich Kaminsky. He is best remembered as the Peanut Man, a comedic trick toss expert who used a variety of styles to hurl packages of peanuts to customers in the stands of the Kingdome and Safeco Field. He did it for 3 decades. Wow. I heard why.
I'm gonna go Kaminsky with an I.
You are correct.
All right, off to a good start.
The good news with this game is it's a 50-50 shot every question.
That's true. That's true. How lucky do you feel?
Now we have Janis Zygmunt Kaminsky, director and cinematographer of classic films like Schindler's List, Catch Me If You Can, Saving Private Ryan, and countless others.
Wow.
Is he an I or is he a Y?
I'm feeling a Y with this one.
That is incorrect. I am sorry. He's an I.
Swing and a miss.
Jeez, you think you'd know. I don't know. This is probably the most ridiculous game we've ever done, and
ready for it.
I'm really enjoying it. Okay, here's a wild one. What is Mel Brooks's real last name? It's Kaminsky. I or Y?
Y.
That is correct. I love Mel Brooks.
I hope you
I
win
feel
surprise.
like I have come across that before. I felt good about the Y on that one.
Favorite Mel Brooks movie?
Producers.
Cassidy?
I'm not playing.
Oh, it's Men in Tights. All right.
Oh, it is Men in Tights. Though.
See, thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Next up, computer security. Well, I can read today. Computer security researcher Dan Kaminsky, who said in a 2016 interview, "The internet was never designed to be secure. The internet was designed to move pictures of cats. We didn't think you'd be moving trillions of dollars onto this." I love that quote. I or Y?
Why?
You are correct.
All right.
You are on your way to victory.
My 50-50 odds are just like
The
great.
odds are ever in your favor.
Doing great.
All right, next up we have Valdemar Kaminsky, who actually there's a Buffalo connection. He was a grocer and an anonymous philanthropist. After he died, it was revealed that he had given millions of dollars to Buffalo charities over the years. He also ran a food stand in Broadway Market for over 50 years. Valdemar Kaminsky. I just like saying that name. I or Y?
Why?
You are incorrect. That is an I. Valdemar.
Where are we? Two for the yes, 2 for the no.
Three yeses, 2 nos. How many other total? So you need 3 more right, and you are going away with a good prize, or you're going away with a bad prize.
All prizes are interesting.
They're
all interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. How about hockey goon Kevin Kaminsky? He played 6 career games versus the Buffalo Sabres, in which he had 2 assists and 18 penalty minutes.
Why?
That is an I. Oh,
Kevin Kaminsky?
Yeah.
It's my brother's name. My brother is Kevin Kaminsky with an I.
Not that one.
Well, he has 18 penalty minutes during the Sabres.
Wow.
I thought you'd know better.
That's your brother from
Man.
another mother.
All right.
It's like it can't be the same as my brother. There's only one of him.
Right?
So there is comedian Danny Kaye, whose real last name is Kaminsky. Before becoming a comedian, a dentist hired him to look after his office when he was on his lunch hours and when he was running errands. And he came back and found Kaye using his dental drill on the office woodwork. In 1939, Kaye met the same dentist's daughter, Sylvia Fine, at an audition, and then they eloped a year later. I just like that story.
That's amazing.
Danny Kaye, nay Kaminsky, I or Y?
I'm going Y again.
Yes,
All
you are
right.
correct. I am currently invested in your victory right now.
He wants you to get the good prize.
I do. I don't even know what the good prize is yet. I haven't picked it. We have a giant. I just brought a garbage bag of all the prizes in, so who knows what's in there. All right.
My prize is a garbage bag.
You can't have them all.
Yeah. All right. Next up, ELO violinist Mike. My screen's cracked, which makes it hard to read. Mick Kaminsky, per band leader Jeff Lynne, he believed that Mike Kaminsky's audition was perfect for the band and said he was the only person to not miss a note.
Wow.
I or Y?
Let's go Kaminsky with an I.
You are correct. All right, you got 2 left. You just need 1 right, and you are on the road to victory.
I'm gonna cinch this
You
prize.
I can feel it. We have another professional hockey player. This one is Max Kaminsky. I mentioned him. He has a Western New York connection. He played hockey from 1929 to 1945, and he played the most years for a team called the Niagara Falls Cataracts.
Huh.
Like
What a name.
like the disease or whatever.
the eye cataract?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What?
Maybe
I
it
don't
was
even have the
sponsored by
joke
an
to make. I'm so
optometrist-
confused.
An optometrist?
Maybe.
sponsored him, perhaps?
So, Max Kaminsky, I or Y?
Max Kaminsky's got a Y.
Yes, he does. So you have 1, but we're still going to give you the last one because that's what we do. Famed document forger Adolfo Kaminsky, born 1925 and still alive today, 96 years old. He forged documents for the resistance in World War II and saved countless Jewish lives. I or Y?
Kaminsky with a Y.
You are correct again.
right.
That is 7 correct and only 3 wrong. I'm going to find a prize.
Big winner! Big winner!
Let's go.
Clap's just a little too long, doesn't it?
I'm going to the casino today. Just gonna put all
the
my money on
casino?
put all my money on black.
So a cataract in geography is a waterfall, especially
That's right. That's right.
water rushing over a precipice.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you, Brandon.
That makes a lot of sense
yeah, it had
because
to-
it's Niagara Falls. And
Yeah.
cataract.
Hold on. Van.
I do like the idea of it being a team sponsored by an optometrist, though.
Right.
The cataracts are coming to get ya.
Barbecue sauce or ketchup? What's your preference?
Barbecue.
All right. For a good prize, we have this bottle of apple pie moonshine barbecue sauce.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
barbecue
Right.
sauce with booze in it.
Nice.
Let's
nice.
go. We're having some pulled pork tonight, baby.
Ooh, I like it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. So that was Kaminsky with an I or Kaminsky. That could have went way worse, I gotta say.
I mean, yeah.
We can make anything interesting. All right, so we're gonna play one more song from Ryan. I can't remember the name of the other song you sent me, but I bet Cassidy does.
I think it was Hey Girl. Oh, no. Gentlemen?
Do you remember?
I thought you had it in your what you calls.
Hold on a second.
I want to say I sent you Gentlemen.
I think you're right. I'm just gonna double check for the sake of my own sanity. Resent.
Your sanity's sake.
The waiting is really the hardest part. Okay, I'm gonna assume it's Gentlemen.
Yeah.
So, tell us about the song.
Gentlemen was actually inspired by a Muse song that I forget the name of. I think it's Uno, but it has like a tango beat to it. And I just thought, man, how cool that a rock band did a song that feels like a tango. Like, that was kind of at the time, it was like a revelation for me that you could do that as a rock band. So I wanted to write my own tango.
That's really cool.
And I was in college when I wrote it, and so the lyrics kind of stem from, like trying to pick up girls at the bars in college, and, it just kind of stems from that. Like, the lyrics are, what happened to the gentleman. It's like taking a look at kind of the dark side of what happens at the bars, like people just looking for one-night stands, basically, and not really looking for anything long-term, and that whole kind of like hookup culture. And to me, it was kind of a critique on that.
Almost like the death of chivalry, if you will.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, so I kind of played around with that idea, and that song was born. But,
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, let's give it a listen. So here is Gentlemen by Ryan Kaminski here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on Western New York Music.com.
The minute he walks through the door, all alone he heads to the bar. He knows if he plays his cards right, his bed won't be empty tonight. The minute she walks through the door, all alone she takes to the floor. Her dress holds her body so tight, she doesn't want to be lonely tonight. Just wants one night, she's gonna get used again. Oh, what happened to the gentleman? Their eyes meet and he closes in. One urge to feel skin touching skin. She smiles as she's lost in his gaze, unaware of the game that he plays. Oh, you know it's not right. He's not looking for romance, he just wants one night. She's gonna get used again. Oh, what happened to the gentleman? He'll take your hand on the dance floor, but you know just what he came for. And as the music gets faster, he won't take no for an answer. And he'll whisper in your ear every line in the book, my dear. But he's no different from all the rest. He just wants to get under that dress. Oh, you know it's not right.
And we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was Gentleman by Ryan Kaminski. That's all we have.
Another episode.
It is gone. It starts, and then next thing you know, it is just over. But at least you have the barbecue sauce to remember this brief,
Remember us by your
fleeting
boozy
moment.
barbecue
I will
sauce.
cherish my prize and our time together.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. On episode 86 is the live episode. So you can show up to Milky's on Saturday, October 9th. I will be there. Cassidy, do you have off from work?
I could make that.
Okay. I'll be there. Cassidy will be there. We're going to be having interviews and performances from Brookhaven, Trey Ocho, Christina Stock,
I have to be there.
and Stress Dolls. It is going to be so much fun. We have games planned. We're going to have prizes for the crowd. We're going to be interviewing all the stuff that we normally do, I
All the
guess.
stuff we normally do, but better, live,
Absolutely.
bigger.
So it starts at 9 p.m. It's $7 to get in. It's going to be a ton of fun. We don't do too many of these live show/concert thingies.
it's
So
great.
I'm super excited about it.
I'm excited about a lot of things. Thank you for being excellent here with
Thank
us
you.
today.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Yes. Pleasure being here.
All right, then. Well, folks, it is hard as hell right now out there. So just be nice to each other. I gotta look at the camera. That's the camera, right? Yeah, there we go. Hi, camera. We're all struggling out there. So please be nice and keep on struggling, and we'll see you next time.